there are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hey guys, Brian from the Star Wars Canon Library here, and you heard the man, there were stories, and they're all true. Welcome to this week's Mailbag episode, the show where all I do is answer your Star Wars questions that you guys send in to the Star Wars Canon Library. How do you guys get a question on the Canon Library? Just simply email it to us at starwarscanonlibrary@gmail.com. I'll go through and pick out a few. Now, I know last week I didn't do a mailbag episode, and I do apologize for that. I know a couple people were commenting and wondering what happened. I was really busy with work, and I did not have a chance to get in here and sit down and do a mailbag episode. But to remedy that, usually I do 5 or 6 questions. This week I'm doing 10 questions. It's going to be a longer episode just so I can make up for last week. So, and surprisingly, a good number of them, probably 80-90% of them, are about Solo, a Star Wars story. So we're going to jump into that in just a minute or two, but I want to tell you guys about something real quick before I do. I finally started a Patreon page. I did start one. Just simply go to Patreon, look up Star Wars Canon Library. For those of you that don't know what Patreon is, it's a website you can go to, and you can essentially donate money or subscribe to a YouTube channel, to certain content for a set of an amount of money that you choose monthly. So I've started that. A couple of people told me I needed to, and you know, it'd be all right. I want to see what happens with it. So make sure to go to Patreon. I'll put the link in the description below, and check out the Patreon account for Star Wars Canon Library. And if you guys like what you see, I would sure appreciate any support you guys decide to send my way. So with that out of the way, I hate talking about stuff like that, but with that out of the way, let's jump into your guys' questions. And like I said, I've got 10 questions this week, and I cannot wait to get into these. Question number 1 this week comes from Brendan Daly. And Brendan says, simple question with an extremely mysterious answer as of now. What happens to the little shuttlecraft on the nose of the Falcon? What is your prediction? Thanks for the question, Brendan. And up until 2 days ago, I really didn't have that much of an idea. I figured, obviously, it's going to be destroyed in this movie at some point, or it's going to be destroyed, lost at some point in this movie, because we obviously don't see it anywhere else in the classic trilogy or on any other Millennium Falcons, right? So my theory is this, and the only reason I'm saying this is because of a toy reveal that we have now, because the new Solo toys have come out. The new Millennium Falcon toy came out with the little piece that slides into the nose cones and stuff. On that toy, there's a canister that you can slide down in one smuggling port, or one smuggling compartment, I guess you could call it. And I don't remember what they called it, something canister, but it just comes with one canister, which I'm assuming in the movie there's going to be more. But there's a peg on the back of the canister, and in the cockpit seat of that little shuttlecraft, there's a little hole that you can set that peg in to put that canister inside the shuttlecraft. So my prediction, and I could be completely off base with this, it'd be really, really cool if this turns out to be what it is. I have no inside information, nothing like that. We know the story between Han and Jabba about why Jabba had the price on Han's head, why he had the bounty out for him. It's because Han was shipping spice for Jabba the Hutt. At least this is the EU version, right? We know there's a form of this that's going to happen because of the dialogue between Han and Jabba in A New Hope. But in the EU, Han was smuggling spice for Jabba the Hutt, got boarded by the Imperial Navy, and had to dump that shipment, cleared the boarding party, cleared that inspection, and then went back to try to find the spice and never found it. So my theory is this. I'm betting we're going to see that in this movie. And he puts that spice canister, or those spice canisters, plural, in that shuttlecraft, and then sends it off into space somewhere, and then goes back to get it later and can't find it anywhere. And that would explain what's going on with Jabba the Hutt, why the bounty is on Han's head, and what happens to that shuttlecraft. So I think it'd be a really nice little segue. Plus, it'd give us a reason to see Jabba the Hutt again. And that's another thing. In this movie, they keep talking about how there's this big-time gangster, and every time they do, it shows Paul Bettany on screen, right, with the scars on his face. I don't think he's the big-time gangster they're talking about. I really don't. It's going to be Jabba the Hutt. I'm almost willing to bet money Jabba's the one putting together that particular crew. But I could be wrong about that. But anyway, that's just my personal thoughts on it. Let me guys, let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think is going to happen to that little shuttlecraft? Do you think maybe somebody's going to die and they just kind of decoy out into it or something? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Thanks for the question, Brendan. Question number 2 this week comes from Jennifer Hart. And Jennifer asks, I'm seeing a lot of people complain about how Han in the Solo movie doesn't seem like Harrison Ford, but in the same breath, those same people say Lando looks perfect, when in my own opinion, it's the other way around. Thoughts? Thanks for the question, Jennifer, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm one of those people that, look, I catch a lot of crap and a lot of slack because of my opinions on some of the new Star Wars films. I've lost viewers because I thought Rogue One was great. I've lost viewers because I said Last Jedi was great in my opinion. And I've lost viewers because I have not talked about certain things surrounding the Han Solo film. At least they said I haven't, but I have. But anyway, based off just the trailer we have, just the trailer alone, we've heard Lando say 2 lines. Well, I take that back, 3 lines. We've heard him say 3 lines. That's it. Okay, and granted, we haven't heard Alden talk a lot either. But this Han and Lando aren't supposed to be just like the Han and Lando we see in the classic trilogy. They're not supposed to be spitting images, identical mannerisms. It's not supposed to be that way. This is 10 years before A New Hope, 13 years before Empire Strikes Back. So this is 13 years before we even see Lando again. All right, this is 10 years before we see Han Solo in A New Hope. 10 years ago, I looked nothing like I do now. Nothing. My mannerisms are different. My speech patterns are different. My behavior is different. Just me in general. I am a different person than I was 10 years ago. All right? Completely different. I guarantee you, sitting right there watching this video, you're a different person than what you were 10 years ago. Guarantee it. If you put, I mean, obviously, if you put the picture side by side, you're going to be able to tell, okay, that's me. But you're not going to have that with Han Solo. You just can't, unless you clone Harrison Ford, and when he's 10 years old, 10 years younger, sorry, when he's 10 years younger than what he was in A New Hope, you put him in this movie. That's the only way you're going to get away with it. That is the only way, okay? So, everybody needs to get off of this train about Alden not looking like Han Solo. They need to get off of it. It's nitpicking. That's all it is. He's not supposed to look like the same Han Solo. Okay, it's just not supposed to. Same thing with Lando. In my opinion, Donald Glover, yeah, he's going to be a good Lando. But he doesn't look a damn thing like Billy D right now. Not a damn thing. I'm having a hard time picturing Billy D wearing the really bright yellow shirt with the red tie. Like, it's just, it doesn't really go well. But it's going to be a great movie. I guarantee Han Solo is going to be a great movie. The Solo film is going to be awesome. But yeah, some of these people, it's like this guy looks like crap, but this guy looks good, but you've seen less of the guy that looks good than you have of the guy that you said looks crappy. You can't say one looks better than the other. You can't do, I mean, you can say one of them portrayed their character better. But keep in mind, this isn't the same, this isn't your daddy's Lando. This isn't your daddy's Han Solo. This isn't, technically, I guess I could say this isn't your Lando. This isn't your Han Solo. Okay, this is going to be your kid's Lando and your kid's Han Solo. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. I was really young when the prequels came out, but I remember my cousin talking to me. And remember, this is just my cousin. This is one person. We didn't have Facebook back then, right? So to see everybody's opinions. But my one cousin told me his opinion on Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi when Episode 1 was coming out. And he said, yeah, he kind of looks like him, but he's not going to be able to pull it off. Nobody can be Obi-Wan except Alec Guinness. Well, now what are we saying? Nobody can play Obi-Wan but Ewan McGregor, right? And that was an even further jump back than what we are with the Han Solo film. So everybody cool your collective jets. Wait, what, 5 more weeks? Not even 5 more weeks for the Solo movie to come out. Get all the hatred out of the way, because there's going to be hatred for it no matter how good the movie is. Somebody is going to piss and moan because the movie isn't what they wanted. It's going to happen. You might as well just prepare for the butthurt and just be ready for it, because it's going to happen. Let the film get out of the way. Then we'll talk about who was better, Han Solo or, you know, the new Lando. We'll talk about that after the film comes out, after we've seen it. But for right now, you've seen a couple trailers and a couple TV spots. Just hold your horses, okay? For those of you that are still saying Han is going to suck in this movie, hold your horses. Just give it a few more weeks. We're almost there. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to digress. So thanks for the question, Jennifer. I appreciate it. The third question this week comes from Henry Gilroy. And Henry says, what are some good stories in canon that span over different mediums? Maybe an arc that starts in one medium but ends in another. Would love to hear your thoughts. Love the channel. Thanks for the question, Henry. And I've thought about this for a while. And I've got 6. I've got 6 story arcs to kind of put together for you. I don't remember if I have anything in here twice. I don't think I do. I think every one of these has got its own set of canon material, right? And it's mainly novels. There's a comic here or there, but it's mainly novels, okay? But I'm assuming what you were talking about was canon material that kind of goes well together, where you can read one and kind of lead right into the next one. I'm assuming that's what you were talking about. So what I've done is I put together 6 different lists, 6 different story arcs, and 6 different sagas, if you will, if you want to use that word. That's all I can really think of to say. 6 arcs, sorry, that I've put together, and I'll let you know what they are. The first one I've put together was the Rogue One saga. That's the only name I could really think of it. The saga is the only thing that really makes sense. And that includes Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, the prequel novel to Rogue One, in this order, by the way. Catalyst, Rebel Rising, Guardians of the Whills, the Cassian and K2SO one-shot comic, and then the Rogue One novelization. Now, Rogue One the novelization, not the film. There's a reason I'm saying that, and I'll get to that in a second. But these stories kind of go boom, 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 boom. And you can sit down. Let's say if you're going on a trip somewhere and you want to cover a certain story arc, this would be a good one. Catalyst, Rebel Rising, Guardians of the Whills, Cassian, and K2 comic, and the Rogue One novelization. That's only 3 full-size novels. Well, actually, it's 2 full-size novel, a young reader, a comic, and this little young adult thing. And you can pretty much get this giant story of Rogue One that's separate from everything else. Another one I put together is Kanan Jarrus. I call it the Kanan Jarrus saga. I'm not the greatest when it comes to names. But it's simple. It just includes Kanan the Last Padawan comic, all 12 issues, the novel A New Dawn, and 4 seasons of Rebels. That pretty much sums up Kanan's entire story. Another one is the Darth Vader saga, which is Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, which is the new comic, the new Vader comic run. Lords of the Sith, which is the novel Lords of the Sith, and then the new Vader run. The old Vader run. The old Darth Vader run is 25 issues. Another one is Inferno Squad saga. It's Inferno Squad, the novel, Battlefront 2, the game campaign, and Battlefront 2 Resurrection, which is the DLC for the campaign. Another one is Leia Lovers. I called it Leia Lovers. Don't ask me why. And then the other one's called Luke Lovers. But the Leia Lovers is Leia, Princess of Alderaan, the Princess Leia comic, Moving Target, and Bloodline. And then the last one I put together was Luke Lovers, which is... I didn't say these were the best books. They just go well together-ish. Heir to the Jedi, The Weapon of a Jedi, and The Legends of Luke Skywalker. A nice little Luke trilogy there for you, because we don't have a Luke comic yet. But any one of those sagas, you could sit down, if you have all these materials, all these particular pieces of canon, you could collect them into these stories and sit down and read. By the time you read Catalyst or Rogue One, that's everything you need to know about Rogue One and that entire story. Same thing with the Kanan one. If you read the Kanan comic, read A New Dawn, and then watch Rebels, that's everything that has to do with Kanan. That's everything. So yeah, definitely go check those out. And I kind of want to go back and reread these in these orders and see how well they flow together, because from memory, the way one ends and goes to the next, it feels like they would flow together really well. And I really wanted to add Tarkin to the Rogue One saga, but I didn't. Tarkin, yes, there's a reference to Tarkin at the end of Catalyst. Essentially, you could read Catalyst and Tarkin back to back. You really could. And at the end of Catalyst, it's the same. Tarkin's on the same base he's at the beginning of Tarkin. So, you could kind of put that in there, but I did, because it didn't really have a lot to do with the Rogue One story itself. So, I did not put Tarkin in there. But guys, definitely go check these out. If you've read some of them in these orders, let me know what you guys thought of them. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. So I hope that answers your question, Henry. Question number 4 this week comes from Maximilian Schrader. I'm hoping I said that right, brother. And Max says, "Hi, this is Max. I was wondering if you think Thrawn or Ezra could be mentioned or show up in Episode 9 or the live-action Star Wars TV series coming soon. Thanks." Thanks for the question, Max. And it's entirely possible. I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on the live-action thing, or at least on the Episode 9 thing. But as far as the TV series goes, it's possible they could pop up in the live-action, which would be really cool to see a live-action Thrawn. As far as Episode 9, I don't think so. I think there's 2 different audiences when it comes to Star Wars. There's the general movie-going audience, which is mainly just they watch the movies and they don't really care about all the books and the comics. They just want to watch the movies. And then you've got the sweaties, like me, you know, anybody who keeps track of all that stuff back there. We read everything. So for us to see, like, the ghost in Rogue One, I remember sitting in the movie theater when I went and saw Rogue One for the first time, and the ghost pops up, and you see Chopper. Everybody lost their minds. Well, not everybody, but you could tell the people in the theater who watched Rebels because they spotted it, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And then some other people were like, "Why are they freaking out? I don't get it. What's the big deal?" Those are your 2 different groups. One of those groups doesn't watch Rebels, so if you had Ezra pop up in 9, you're gonna have to have a lot of backstory explaining what happened to Ezra to make it really make sense. Now for you and me, we would get it. We'd be like, "Oh my god, that," or Thrawn. Holy crap! Like, you put Thrawn in Episode 9 and watch the audience when he pops up. You're gonna know who reads the books, who watches the shows, and who doesn't. You're gonna know by just looking at facial expressions. So I don't think he's gonna pop up in 9. I think that would kind of alienate the general movie-going audience just a little bit. However, I'd love to see it. As far as the live-action TV series goes, it's possible. I would put more money on the new animated series, but it's entirely possible that he could pop up in the new Star Wars series, depending on where the live-action series takes place. There's a lot of talk that could possibly be Old Republic. I don't know, because I still think the Benioff and Weiss movies are going to be Old Republic. That's just me personally, but we don't really know what's going on with this live-action thing yet. But I would love to see Thrawn and Ezra pop up live-action. Holy crap, that'd be awesome. I'm right there with you. I'm hoping to God it happens. And I guess all we can really do is wait until they start announcing something, or, we get a trailer or something. God, man, I cannot wait. I can't wait. So thanks for the question, Max. I'm sorry I couldn't answer it a little bit better. But at this point with that particular subject, you know about as much as I do. But you and I think, are on the same page, hoping something like that happens. So thanks for the question, man. I appreciate it. Question number 5 this week comes from Richard J, of all people, guys. For those of you who've been following the channel for a while, you've heard the name Richard J several times. We actually sat down with Richard J last week and did a commentary for The Last Jedi that you can play along with your Blu-ray or your DVD or your digital copy. It's over on the Realm of the Mist YouTube channel. Make sure to go check that out. It was me, Chris Dolly, and Richard J. We sat down. And it was actually the first time we actually sat and, I don't want to say physically, but face-to-face talked to Richard J. He's one of our biggest followers, and he runs the Facebook page for the Canon Library, and he's doing a great job of it. But Richard J. has a question, and he asks this. In The Last Jedi novelization, when Rey comes into contact with the caretakers, Luke tells them that Rey is his niece. Do you think this is a hint at a family connection, or is Lucasfilm just purposely teasing us? Thanks for the question, Jay. No, she is not related to him. There's no way. Look, if he knew that early on, because, okay, for those of you that don't know, let me back up just a second. For those of you that don't know and haven't read the novelization, which if you haven't, you need to, that novelization is, holy crap, it is amazing. In the novelization, we kind of see that scene in one of the deleted scenes where the caretakers are asking about Rey, and you see Luke say something in a different language and turn around and walk off. In the novelization, you know what he says. He says, "She's just my niece." And everybody's like, "I knew it, they were related." No. Look, if Luke knew she was his niece, something else would have been said about that. He wouldn't have been saying, "Who are you? who are you? And then turn around and say, she's my niece. You can't have both. It's one or the other. He told her that. It was an Easter egg as far as I'm concerned, because everybody wanted her to be Luke's niece or daughter or something. As far as I'm concerned, it's just an Easter egg. It's one of those things where they put it in there just to keep speculation running rampant. Just like what we're doing right now. We're talking about it. No, she is not related to Luke Skywalker. There's no way that turns out to be true. There's no way. Unless there's a lost Skywalker kid out there somewhere that Anakin and Padme didn't know about, which Padme had to have known about it, then there's this null and void. It was Luke telling the caretakers she was his niece to shut them up. That's all it was, to just let it slide. Don't worry about it. She's related to me. It's cool. How many times have you told somebody, oh, they're with me, don't worry about it? It happens, right? So, no, there's nothing to it. I'm not putting any money on it whatsoever. Because they wouldn't drop something that big in the novel. If it was that big of a deal, they would have put it in the movie. And they didn't. So, and even in the deleted scene that they cut, it wasn't even in English. I'm sorry, basic in Star Wars. It wasn't even basic. It was some other weird language. So, I wouldn't put anything on it. But thanks for the question, Jay. I do appreciate it. The sixth question this week comes from Arthur Serva. And Arthur asks, how long is the main Star Wars comic series going to last? That's a good question. I'm going to say forever. I'm going to say it's forever. Look, we're going to run this arc up until Empire Strikes Back. For those of you that don't know, the Star Wars arc right now is happening between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. We know there's about 3 years there, right? And the comics are kind of taking place like real time, and the new comics have been going for about 3 years, right? And from the context of some of the stories, you can tell we're getting closer. You know, maybe Han's outfit will be like really Hoth-esque in one issue, and then go back to the smuggler, solo outfit. So they're starting to drop little nuggets. So eventually, at some point, there's only so much you can squeeze into 3 years. There's only so much. And at some point, that comic is going to hit Empire Strikes Back. Just like the Poe Dameron comic is now hitting The Force Awakens. Now you're seeing The Force Awakens from Poe Dameron's point of view, right? So at some point, you have to hit Empire Strikes Back. If you get past that, then at some point, you're going to hit Return of the Jedi. And then where do you go? Depending on what they have planned for after Episode 6, whether it's the new animated series, Resistance, or, a new series of novels, or a TV show, or, a live-action TV show maybe. We don't know what they're going to be doing after that. If you're doing a live-action TV show with your big three after Return of the Jedi, you really can't follow them in the comics anymore, because you're just going to get comic adaptations of the TV show. So they really have to pick and choose what medium they're going to tell each set of stories in. The Star Wars comic, since it's self-titled, Star Wars, that encompasses everything, right? I feel like they're going to get to Empire. They're going to get through Empire. They're going to get to Jedi and get through Return of the Jedi. But then I think you're going to see the Star Wars series do something we haven't seen it do before. I mean, we kind of have, but we haven't really to the degree I'm talking. I'm talking see it bounce around. Maybe the Star Wars comic goes to this time period on this planet, and we get a 5 or 6 issue run on that story. And then it goes to this time period or this planet, and then we get another 5 or 6 issue story run, right? Or go back to Old Republic and tell like a 12 issue run or something like that. We've kind of seen a little bit of flashback stuff in the comics so far when we went back to the Yoda-centric stuff before Phantom Menace. When we saw the Obi-Wan trilogy of comics, which were great, by the way, seeing what Obi-Wan was up to on Tatooine, awesome. I think they're going to do something like that, and they'll have to come up with a way to kind of segue into it, I think. I think if you did, Return of the Jedi comic, and then the very next issue was like 5,000 years ago, you're going to have to segue into that somehow. But it's possible to do, because at some point these comics are going to start overlapping, because the next comic chronologically after Star Wars is Shattered Empire. At some point, and that had Han in it, that had Leia in it, that had Luke in it. You can't have Star Wars and Shattered Empire running simultaneously. Now, you can have a time gap in Star Wars where it skips over Shattered Empire. But at some point, it's going to get confusing. So I feel like they're going to go back to other time periods, other stories, and hop all over the timeline I can see him doing it, and I would be all right with that. I would love to see, and because that's a medium that if a story is working well and it's being received well, shit, do a few more issues of it. You know, to keep it running a little longer. If you plan out a 5 or 6 issue story arc and 3 issues in, you realize, okay, fans aren't responding real well to this. Good, you've only got 2 or 3 more issues left to go, and then you can go do something new. You know, you can test the waters on different things with the comics and different time periods and kind of see what fans want, what they like, what they don't like. It's a great way to do it. So that's what I see the main Star Wars title going on forever. And actually, I've got them, what issue is this? 46? I still have to catch up on these. I've pulled my poll file last week and I haven't finished them yet. They're already on issue 46. And it seems like it's been going so much longer than that. But it's only 46. It's going to go on forever. I mean, look at some of the DC comics, you know, before the New 52 started. They were up to issues 600-700s. I mean, there's comic issues running in the 700-800 issue line, right? So it could go on forever and ever. I mean, once you hit it, there's nothing to say. Once they hit 1,000 issues, it's done. We're nowhere near 1,000. I won't live to see the 1,000th issue of Star Wars. I won't live to see it. So it could go on forever. I guarantee it. I don't see them ending that one anytime soon. Now, the other comics, some of the other ongoing, like Dr. Aphra, it's going to come to a close at some point. Poe Dameron is going to come to a close at some point. These other long-running ones are going to end at some point. We're going to get some new stuff. So fingers crossed that it's soon. I really, really want to see some new comic stuff. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars Adventures comics, which I think is kind of what the new Star Wars comic may end up doing. That's a good example. Kind of bouncing back and forth, telling different stories. But I don't think they're going to be one-offs like the Adventures are. I think it's going to be, you know, like I said, 5 to 6. What you could fill up in a TPB, a trade paperback. I think that would be the best route to go. So thanks for the question, Arthur. Question number 7 this week comes from Roy Hawkins. And Roy says, when do you think Lucasfilm will announce what they're going to do with Leia in Episode 9? Surely they have to tell us soon, right? Would love to get your take on it. Thanks for the question, Roy. And really, they don't have to tell us anything. They're not obligated to tell us anything about what they're going to do with Leia. And I don't think they're going to. I think the first time you find out, look, if hypothetically speaking, let's say they recast Leia, I don't think you're going to know about that until either 1, set photos leak, or 2, first trailer drops and it shows the new Leia in it. And I think that's the way it needs to be. I think that's the way it should be. I don't think that's something where if they look after Solo comes out, let's say they come out and say, hey, we're going to have Meryl. This isn't happening. That's just argument's sake. Let's say they come out and say, hey, we're going to have Meryl Streep play Princess Leia. Well, right off the bat, you know Leia's going to be in the movie. All right. You know she didn't die anywhere. And it's going to kind of ruin the mystery a little bit. I mean, it's kind of morbid to say that. And I don't mean for it to be. But I feel like that needs to stay mysterious for right now. That's not something that really matters at this point as far as knowing right now what's going to happen. Because what changes? What is that going to change? If they come out tomorrow and say, hey, you know, we're going to have Meryl Streep play Leia. What does that change? All it's going to do is piss off a lot of fanboys. And it's going to divide the Star Wars base that much more, because you know there's gonna be people that hate that idea, there's gonna be people that love that idea. It's just gonna split us more. If you just keep your mouth shut, Lucasfilm, and let it ride, let the speculation run rampant. Just do it. It's whatever. Okay. Now, if you come out and say, well, we're not gonna recast Leia and we're not gonna CG her, well, that right there tells you she's dead by the time 9 rolls around. It's a spoiler. It's kind of spoilery when you think about it that way. So they can't really announce a whole lot of anything of what they're doing without giving away something. And Lucasfilm is not going to give away something that big. If they recast Leia, you're not going to know about it until, officially know about it until either, you know, a celebration when they announce it or the first trailer pops up, which honestly, if that was going to happen, Star Wars Celebration next year is probably, if they recast Leia, which I don't think they should do, but if they recast Leia, it's going to be Celebration next year when they announce who it is. That's where it's going to be. If they don't recast her, they already said they're not going to CG her. So if they don't recast her, you can bank on her getting written out during opening crawl on 9. I can almost guarantee it. Or you'll just see her from the back, shit blows up, boom, that's it. Which would be a disgrace to the character. Personally, this is just my opinion. Personally, I would rather them write Leia out between 8 and 9. Opening crawl, General Leia has been assassinated. Get through the movie and open it with her funeral or something. Get through the movie. And then once the movie's out and once the dust is settled, because you know it's going to piss people off, once the dust settles, get Claudia Gray to write a novel about what happened. Have Claudia Gray be the one to usher Leia into the afterlife, into the essence of the Force. Let her be the one. I think she's earned it at this point. The woman knows Leia. The woman knows Star Wars. She knows how to write. Give it to her, give it to Claudia Gray. Let her be the one, because you know how emotional that's going to be. If for those of you who have read the end of Leia, Princess of Alderaan, the last couple lines of that book, you already know what I'm talking about. Claudia Gray knows how to give a gut punch when she needs to. She knows how to tug at heartstrings. She knows how to hit you in the emotion sensory like nobody else. So give it to her. I know if by some chance they do that and Claudia Gray writes the death of Leia, there's going to be tear marks in my book where Leia dies. It's just is. I already had tears going on my face in Last Jedi when she gets sucked out of the ship and everybody, I was like, oh, that's how they did it? Really? That's the route they went? And I was already starting to cry, and then they brought her back. So no matter how they do Leia in this movie, no matter how they handle the character, it's a lose, lose, lose for Lucasfilm. No matter what they do, nobody is going to be happy. Well, some people may be happy. But no matter what they do, everybody's not going to be happy. If you recast her, you're going to piss off the people who didn't want to recast. And then if you recast her, you run the risk of alienating everybody from the character because maybe the actress you get doesn't pull it off, you know? And then if you CG her, which they're not going to, but if you CG her, everybody's going to be like, oh, it doesn't look anything like Leia. She looks so fake. Looks like Tarkin in Rogue One, which didn't look bad, by the way. I mean, you could tell it was fake, but hats off for accomplishing what you did, Lucasfilm. And then if you kill her off between 8 and 9, people are going to be pissed off at that too. And then they're going to be like, oh, what do you mean I have to read it in a book that she died? Really? Guys, no matter what happens with Leia, it's a lose, lose, lose situation. It is so unfortunate. And it's really, really sad that no matter how they handle this, people are going to bitch. A woman lost her life. A woman passed away. A woman that a lot of us never even got to meet, but loved dearly because we grew up with her, you know? And she's left behind this legacy of a character that now we don't know what to do with. And no matter what we do with it, people are going to be upset. There's going to be butthurt and there's going to be backlash no matter what. So what Lucasfilm needs to do is sit down, collectively decide what they're going to do with the character, what they feel like is the best route to take this character. Not what the fans want the most. What is the best way to honor Carrie Fisher? Not necessarily the character, but Carrie Fisher. What would she want done with the character? And do it. And just stick to their guns and stand behind it no matter what anybody says. Stand behind that decision. Because at least they have the balls to make the decision like that. That's all I have to say about Leia. So I don't think that we're going to know anytime soon, Roy, what they're doing with Leia. I don't think that's going to be anything we know about for at least another year. I'm going to say another year. Don't expect to hear anything about it. I'm not expecting. Now, if they come out tomorrow, they can make a liar out of me and come out tomorrow and say, hey, we're going to recast her. And that null and voids everything I just said. But as of right now, it is my opinion. It's going to be at least a year before we hear anything about that. But thanks for the question, Roy. I appreciate it. Question number 8 this week comes from Danielle Beckman. Sorry, I almost said that wrong. And Danielle says, are you excited to blast some Ewoks on Battlefront 2? I am beyond pumped. I thought I remembered you saying you still play Battlefront, so was wondering if you're gonna let anyone join you. Absolutely, Danielle. Look, for those of you that don't know, Battlefront, EA is releasing an update for Battlefront 2, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow by the time this comes out, April 18th. It's a new mode called Ewok Hunt. And it takes place on Endor at night, and there's 2 sides when the match starts. There's the Ewoks with spears and rocks, and there's Stormtroopers with blasters and flashlights. And tell me, this is oh my god, this is all I'm ever gonna do on Battlefront from now on. And they go at it. And for every Stormtrooper that dies, the person who's playing as a Stormtrooper spawns back in as an Ewok until all the Imperials are dead. This is going to be the most fun I've ever had on Battlefront 2. And I've had a lot of fun on Battlefront 2. I cannot wait. It's going to be terrifying to be a Stormtrooper in that game mode with just a flashlight in the woods. It's going to be like Slender Man with Ewoks, man. Jesus Christ, I cannot wait for that. But yes, I am going to be playing the crap out of it. And for those of you that don't know, you guys can join me on PS4. I have a PS4. I don't have an Xbox One. I went over to the dark side this generation. So I've got a PS4. I play Battlefront 2 on my PS4. And for those of you who are interested and want to join up, my gamer name on there, I don't even know what they really call it. I know they call it a gamer tag on Xbox, but I don't know what you call it. Your ID, I guess. Mine is Doc in a Blue Box. DOCINAB. I think I spelled that wrong somewhere. Doc in a Blue Box. I'll put it here on the screen somewhere. Like I'll put it right here for you guys. And then also, if you guys want to join in, because I know me and Chris Stolley are going to be playing some of this at some point, you guys can also join in with us. Just simply join Wild High. I'll put that right here too. I guess it's on this side, isn't it? I'll put it right there. And actually this week last week we didn't do Journal of the Jedi because we were doing the commentary for Last Jedi. And the week before that, we did Journal of the Jedi on Battlefront 2. We talked some Star Wars while we played Battlefront, and we had people sending in live questions. Richard J, I know, was watching, and we live streamed it on Twitch, and then we put it on the YouTube channel. We're going to be doing that again this week. As far as I know, I think that's what Chris said we were doing. As far as I know, we are doing that again this week, and I think we're doing it tomorrow night, actually. So make sure to join in. I'll let you guys know on the Facebook page. Make sure to go over there and get the thumbs up and get updates on the Facebook page. I will put on the Facebook page when we are doing that Journal of the Jedi episode. So if you guys want to join in and play some Battlefront with us, talk some Battlefront with us, just talk Star Wars in general, you want to make it onto the episode, man? Awesome. Join in with us. Start sending out some friend requests now, and we'll get you guys added in, and we'll just all party up, and we'll talk some Star Wars. So, yes, we are going to be blasting some mother effing Ewoks, man. I cannot wait. Thanks for the question, Danielle. And question number 9 this week comes from Robin Lynn. And Robin says, I saw one of your other videos talking about what form Jabba the Hutt should take in the new film. Did I miss something? Was it announced he was going to be in it? Because it would be the greatest thing ever to see the Jabba puppet again. Thank you for what you do, man. I know you catch crap for some of your opinions, but I respect that. Thanks for the question, Robin. And thank you for being a follower. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I catch a lot of crap about some of my opinions, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing my opinion to jump on some bandwagon. So, about your question about Jabba the Hutt, no, you didn't miss anything. They didn't announce anything. We didn't see Jabba in a trailer somewhere that you missed. Nothing like that. It's heavy speculation at this point. I can almost guarantee you Jabba's going to pop up in this movie. Like I said earlier in this video, I feel like the big gangster in the Solo film is going to be Jabba the Hutt. If Lucasfilm does not put him in this film, it is a wasted opportunity. Why would you make a Solo film 10 years before A New Hope and not put Jabba the Hutt in it? In some form or fashion. Anything. Do you realize the reaction you're going to get in the audience when we're watching Solo for the first time in a few weeks, and Han goes to Jabba's palace, and there sits the Return of the Jedi puppet Jabba the Hutt? I'm going to literally, excuse my language, shit myself. I know look, I said I was going to cry. Before episode 8 came out, I said I was going to cry if Puppet Yoda showed up, and it did. Sure enough, I bawled. I bawled like a freaking baby. I can't watch that scene. If you guys watch that commentary that we did and sync it up with your Blu-ray, when we get to that part, you'll notice I get really quiet. It's because I'm crying. I cannot watch that scene without shedding tears. I love it so much. To do that with Jabba the Hutt in the Han Solo film, to not do that would be a wasted opportunity. Why would you do that? Why would you make this movie and not put Jabba in it? Especially with the history they have. We're going to see Jabba the Hutt. I'm guaranteeing it at this point. It's going to happen. That's why we were talking about it. There's a lot of... If they put Jabba the Hutt in it, do you do the CG version between... Because it takes place between episodes 1 and 4 where we see Jabba the Hutt as CG in both. Do you make him CG in that to keep it consistent? Or do you go classic and put the puppet in there? You know, I mean, they put the puppet Yoda in episode 8 for consistency purposes and for nostalgia. And we know they're going for nostalgia in this film, but we don't know, like, as far as continuity goes, it would make more sense to have the CG one. But God, man, can you imagine if it's the puppet? Holy crap. I will lose my collective effing mind if Jabba the Hutt pops up. And it's got 4 guys inside of him puppeteering him. That would be so awesome. So no, you didn't miss anything. It was just us speculating a lot and kind of trying to figure out where the film's going to go at this point. I like one of my other theories right now, you know, and I talked about it on another video. I think it was my reaction video to the last Solo trailer. I joked about that part at the end where Chewie's getting ready to hit the rock. Han pulls him out of the way. I said, wouldn't that be funny if that was the life debt moment? And somebody commented on that video and said, no, Chewie's life debt moment comes from Han saving him from the Imperials, which I knew that. It was the way I see this going. Han's going to do something, get sent to the spice mines of Kessel. He's going to meet Chewie there, who's also a slave. And then he's going to break out and free Chewie. And then Chewie's going to swear the life debt to him because he got him out of the spice mines of Kessel. All of that has to happen before the crew takes form. I honestly see that being very, very early in the film, because you see in one of the TV spots of him saying, so what's your name anyway? And that's got and look, Chewie doesn't have the bandolier. So it's before that. That's got to be early in the film. And then by the time Woody Harrelson comes up and says, hey, we're putting together a crew, they've been together a while. They had to have been at that point. So that's going to be how that goes down. I guarantee it. They're going to break out of the spice mines of Kessel together, and Chewie's going to swear him a life debt. Mark my words. Mark down this video, watch the film, and we'll come back and see if I'm right about this. So, but yeah, Jabba's going to play a part in that too. I guarantee it. Thanks for the question, Robin. And the final question tonight has nothing to do with canon whatsoever. But I figured it would be a fun one to kind of throw in there, just to end the show on kind of a high note, since we talked about, a lot of people bringing people down on their opinions and stuff. Michelle Lowe, I think it's pronounced Lowe. Michelle says, not canon related, but I have to know, in your opinion, what is the best looking Black Series figure they've released? For me, it's either Snoke or Qui-Gon Jinn. Thanks for the question, Michelle. And yes, I'm a huge Black Series collector. I've got a bunch of them on my wall up there. I've got a couple stacks over there that I haven't even put on the wall yet. I am a Black Series freak. I mean, seems to be the thing that everybody's collecting now, right? Because these figures look so good. Like, they started off looking great, and then they kind of took a dip in quality for a while, and now they're like back on the uphill trajectory, and you're like, dude, these look awesome. And for the two you picked, yeah, hang on just a second. I got them right here. I got them out specifically for you. You said Snoke or Qui-Gon Jinn. I've got both of these figures here. And, yeah, they both look really good. I don't know if you can see both of them. Here we go. I mean, if you look at Snoke, I mean, he's got some really good detail to him. But then if you look at Qui-Gon, that straight looks like Liam Neeson. It's almost scary. So, excellent choices for which ones you think the best. And I'm going to agree with you on one of them. I've got two that I think look really great. And I'm going to go with Qui-Gon, because that is scary looking like like Liam Neeson. That's actually, I'm going to say three. I don't have one of them yet, but I saw it in the store the other day and I almost bought it, but didn't. Not yet. Rent comes first. But Qui-Gon is number one, in my opinion. Tarkin is number two. Tarkin, if you guys look at that Black Series figure, it is scary how much that looks like. It looks more like Tarkin than Tarkin and Rogue One look like Tarkin. Like, it's scary dead on Tarkin. They could have used the Black Series figure for Rogue One, and I'd have been perfectly okay with it. But the other one on my list that looks really, really good in my opinion, and I know I'm going to catch slack for this. I'm going to catch so much crap for saying this. All right? And for those of you who are hating on the new Solo movie, calm down. I'm not saying that this figure looks great because it looks like this character. I'm saying it looks great compared to the actor who's playing this character, and that's the new Han Solo. This thing is gorgeous. It looks identical to Alden Ehrenreich. And if you look really close, I don't know if you can tell it on the camera. I don't think you can. But if you look really close, they started putting gloss over the eyes now. So now their eyes actually twinkle a little bit when you turn them in the light. And to be honest, it's kind of scary. But like I said, that series took a dip for a while. And there's a couple of Black Series figures that don't look great at all. There's the R2-D2. They really need to go back and redo R2. That figure isn't to scale. It just looks like crap. You can't get one that's not bent in the package. Coloring is off. It looks like crap. Another one that looks like crap is Slave Leia. Slave Leia from that first wave looked so bad. And actually, I've got a Slave Leia around here somewhere. I don't know where she is right now. I think she's up in the closet. But I got one with two right arms in the package. She's got another right arm instead of a left arm. Manufacturer mess up. I didn't notice it until months after I bought it. But anyway, But there's been a couple that look really bad. And then like the Farm Boy Luke, it didn't look that great either. And neither did the Jyn Erso. Like right around that Rogue One period, some of those really didn't look good. The Ahsoka Tano looks really good. You know, K2 obviously looks good because it's easy to do inanimate objects. You know, Death Troopers look good. But it's hard to do a human face. But now they've started doing this thing where they scan the actor's face and then make a mold of that. And for a $20 figure, that looks great. Like I said, go look at that Alden Ehrenreich figure and like go to the store and pick one up and put it in the light and you can see the gloss in the eyes. It's terrifying to see sometimes. But yeah, I'm going to go with Qui-Gon, Tarkin, and young Han Solo. Those are my three that look the absolute best. Oh man, and Jedi Training Rey looks good too. Now that I think about it, that one looks a lot like Daisy Ridley. But I hope that answered your question. It's awesome talking to another Black Series fanatic. So thanks for the question, everybody. Questions, everybody. And that will do it for this episode of Mailbag. That was 10 questions, guys. We've been going for what, 44 minutes, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and call this some quits. I'm going to get this edited and uploaded for you guys. Make sure to visit the website. It is www.starwarscanonlibrary.com. You can email us from that website for questions from Mailbag if you really want to. Speaking of Mailbag, you can email us at starwarscanonlibrary@gmail.com as well. Make sure to visit the Facebook page. Make sure to bust Richard J's balls a little bit. He's doing a great job. You guys got to give him some crap running that Facebook page. Give us a thumbs up there. And if you guys like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you really like to hit that subscribe button, there's a lot of other things coming down the road for the Canon Library. We're going to be taking a break here before long for about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. For those of you that don't know, I work at a grain elevator in Kansas, so we've got wheat harvest coming up. And that's like a month and a half long ordeal where I don't get a day off, and it's 15-hour days every day. So that's my break where there's not a whole lot of material being released. Jay will still be up on the Facebook page. And depending on how I feel, or if maybe we get a rainy night one day and I get to come home early, I might shoot out a mailbag video or something like that. So keep the mailbag questions coming. I may just, like I said, save them for a rainy day. That was kind of funny, but that break is coming up. But after that break is over, we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff with the Canon Library. So I'm working on maybe working on a new intro. Who knows? I've had the same intro since the beginning. Working on that, working on an audio-only podcast, working on some special stuff just for the Patreon supporters. So make sure to check out the Patreon as well, like I said earlier. Make sure to stay tuned for the Canon Library. And if it seems like I'm going dark for a while here before long, don't think anything of it. I'm not done. It's the middle of harvest for me. And it is the one time a year that I really hate working in a grain elevator. So keep that in mind, guys. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. Like I said, make sure to join us for Journal of the Jedi tomorrow night. I will make sure to get that information out on the Facebook page. So until next time, guys, this is Brian signing off, and may the Force be with you.